Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Strategy Game podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Shippey. And today we're going to be talking about the process of setting new goals for the new year approaching. And I'm going to be referring back to a blog post that our good friend and contributor, Jen Fonseca, wrote for us. And it's called Why the Who Questions Matter When Setting New Goals. Jen has developed really a process of, she always likes to say who before do. She's an incredible life coach. She has impacted many, especially in our region. And I know that she's going to continue to do that through her work. And so she had written this blog post about a year ago. And so as we approach 2023, I was looking at it again and thinking, wow, what a great way to think about starting the new year. Because as we get to this time of year, I'm already thinking about 2023. I'm already starting to think about what does next year look like? What does it hold? And it takes a while to let that simmer a little bit and just continuously be listening, be looking, be actively aware of the direction that things are moving, not only in the world, in the economy, in your business, but also personally in your life. And by that, I just mean taking space to be still and to listen for that still small voice that will guide you and will direct you to your next steps. And so as this time approaches, many of us look backward, we look forward, right? We review the past, we examine any wins and losses, and we focus on future goals and strategy and plans. And these are great things to do. But it's also really important, Jen challenges us to suggest a better starting point. Look inward at who you are and who your business is. And you guys know this resonates with me so much because at StoryWork, we are focused on identity-based strategy, helping people get clear on who they are as people, who they are as a business, and then who they serve ultimately so that they can develop a healthy, impactful strategy from that place. So asking these who questions really needs to come before even our year-end review and any kind of goal setting that we might do. The most important thing you can do in my mind is what she's suggesting. Number one, who do you believe yourself to be, your core beliefs, and who are you by nature, your character and your core values. And if you're thinking in terms of your business or movement or nonprofit, this also applies. So what do you believe your company to be? What are your core beliefs? And really, who are you? What is the character and nature and your core values that drive your business? Not just a poster on the wall. This is like character, identity, your very identity of your business and what you represent, what you want to deliver to people, how you want them to feel when they experience it. That can then help bring you back to your identity if you're getting stuck or you're having trouble really figuring it out. It's also okay if you don't know the answer, because most people spend most of their lives trying to figure this out. And the other thing I want to tell you is that this changes throughout seasons of your lives, right? And so what you're looking for, and this is the work that we did in the Strategy Masterclass. If you haven't taken that course, it's my online course that you can take to unpack this. You look for themes or threads throughout your life. This will help you get clarity on your purpose. And I believe there's this kind of like overarching purpose that drives our life when we see threads or common themes throughout our lives. And I realized through this work and through the process I outlined there that mine is to help people see, know, and hear each other. And so I do that in all different ways, right? That might look like a book. It might look like a leadership framework. It might look like an online course. It might look like strategic consulting for companies. But that is the core driver. And so it's who before do. And so she instructs us, her first recommendation is to examine the core beliefs of who you are, what she likes to call our I am statements. But first, she's going to give us some compelling reasons why knowing your who and starting with this question is so critically important. Number one, our behavior is really driven by our core beliefs about ourselves. So behavior, right, is reflected in our core beliefs about ourselves. So our businesses are driven based on their core beliefs. When these are not in alignment or we are operating out of incorrect perceptions, they directly impact our results. Okay, so I love what she does there because this is a lot of what we do too. She just connected core beliefs and behavior to results and impact. Don't miss that because it's all connected. So, and we're going to link to the this blog post in the show notes here so you can see this on paper if you're wanting to connect any dots further as you're listening in. Number two, to achieve those big, hairy, audacious goals for next year, you or your business must be who your goals need you to be, especially if you hope to sustain that level of success. That could not be more true. We have to become what we want, right? For ourselves or our businesses. We have to grow into that, mature into that. And that is a process. It is ever evolving. We've never arrived. It's a lifelong journey. And that's why maintaining what we talk about as a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset is critical to success. A growth mindset allows us to see things, even struggles, hardships, conflict, when we keep hitting the wall on something as an opportunity, and a fixed mindset keeps us stuck in a place of the same old rhythm, routine, and unhealthy patterns. So I would challenge you more than anything to maintain a growth mindset as you're going through this. Who do you need to be? What do you need to step into in order to sustain the level of success that you're going after for yourself personally and for your business? Your who drives everything else, she says, including your why, and your who impacts and affects your progress and results. And if you're doubting this, she's going to share with us a true story that her friend shared with her the other day to illustrate the power of knowing your who. So it says, my friend, let's call him Brian, is an entrepreneur with a few startups under his belt. Over the last few years, Brian has worked on a big idea that has the potential to be hopefully world-changing. We made an agreement a few months back that he would write and publish a white paper on the idea platform he's been developing. The weeks and deadlines came and went. When he had an accountability chat about it, he said, I'm just a big procrastinator, and I completely disagreed. Some of us are more pressure prompted, but our identity, our who, is not a procrastinator. Oh, we may be selectively motivated. I prefer that term. But when we put things off, it is because of a deeper reason, often fueled by inaccurate view of ourselves. I believe that so much. A core belief issue of who we are is preventing us from moving into who we should be. So I pressed him a bit on this, and Brian admitted, I literally will find anything else to do in order to avoid writing the white paper. How many of you guys are relating to this right now? Definitely been there. And honestly, I don't know why. That's when I suggested the 5 whys exercise. And we talk a lot about this. If you've taken the masterclass or listening to the podcast, we have a whole episode on this. It's peeling the layers of the onion back to get to the core. We want to get to the core because once we identify the core of what's keeping us stuck, we won't be stuck any longer because we'll be able to call it out, right? And get that roadblock out of the way. So this is what she was doing with him. I asked him to ask himself, why am I procrastinating on writing this white paper? And then when he has the answer to that question, write it down and then ask himself why again. The goal is to ask yourself why 5 times until you get down to the core issue or belief or limiting belief, important to discern, that is preventing you from accomplishing the very thing you wanted to do. Brian's results from doing this exercise were healing, liberating, and set up for a huge payoff. Here it is in his own words. I took your advice and went through the 5 whys exercise, and I was able to fully put my finger on my blockages that have been preventing me from finishing this white paper. When it came down to to an irrational fear of failure based on dating back to my childhood. And you guys know I'm also huge on this. So when you're identifying themes and patterns throughout your lives, you're also going to identify triumphs and hardships. And we lay this out in the masterclass as well. So by age group, think through what things, what blockages, what core beliefs, what false assumptions you made about yourself, right? Experiences, all of those things that stood in the way. Look at this, are now affecting him from moving into who he needs to be for this next season. There could not be more important work for us to do. So it says, so I was able to pinpoint exactly where the fear came from. And now I am rewriting the way I am viewing those past failures. And once I started to make the shift in perception of who I am, everything else started to change. Brian identified a core belief about himself. The word was, I am a failure, that subconsciously was defining and setting ceilings on what he could or could not accomplish. It drove his behavior, and the why for his idea is amazing, but without a solid who behind it, well, it was just too massive an undertaking to achieve. Brian convinced himself based on a false belief of who he was, that he should give up on his goal and that he lost his passion for it. So he must not really be, this must not really be his purpose. Does this sound familiar to you? Are you thinking of a situation in your life right now where there was this maybe tiny little lie that started back in the day and now has had a consequential impact on your life? Now, this might not be obvious right away, but I promise you, as you follow these steps in the masterclass and you look at your life and things come to mind, write them down and start paying attention to the trends. If you keep hitting the wall with someone or something, pay attention to that. And instead of having a fixed mindset and saying, well, this just always happens, start asking yourself why. Start being curious about that. Get curious about it. Identify any patterns. And once you're able to call those out, then you can understand the work that you need to do in order to move into who you need to be for the next level of growth for a new year, a new season, right? In your business and in your life. So this is amazing. I would encourage you to read the rest of the post, but she talks about, maybe you struggle with imposter syndrome. You wonder if you have what it takes. And I want to tell you, you're not alone in that. Until we address all of those core beliefs about who we are or who we perceive ourselves to be, we will continually look back with regret and we'll have trouble moving forward without fear. So maybe for today, start asking yourself some who questions. And she gives us 4 questions to ask. So number 1, who am I? Number 2, what core beliefs were driving what you did or did not accomplish last year? That's big. So what core beliefs were driving what you did or did not accomplish? What I am statements do I have that are really unproductive and self-limiting beliefs? And then number 4, what narrative am I telling myself? And if it's unproductive, what's the new narrative I want to write up to help me move forward? What are we going to replace it with? So we can't just kick out the old narrative without replacing it with something new. So let the new come. That would be my encouragement for this new year. Take some time to reflect on these things. This is a great time of year to do this and get ready for a really awesome new year to come. So thanks for listening in. As always, I'll link to this in the show notes and we'll talk to you soon.